And good morning and welcome to a special edition of The Powers That Be, coming to you this week from the nation's capital, where on Tuesday, not only did Kentucky's longest-serving U.S. Senator take the oath of office for his sixth term, but also began the very challenging tenure of Senate Majority Leader.
I would say to my friends on the minority side, it'll be open for amendment. Why don't we get started?
Before McConnell started his new role as Majority Leader, he gave me a tour of his Capitol office.
The first interesting thing that happened in this general area of the Capitol was the 36th ballot race between Thomas Jefferson and Aaron Burr,
where the nation's history meets him making history. The leadership office is part of the original Capitol. The House of Representatives first met here, also used by the Supreme Court and by vice presidents to conduct official business.
During the War of 1812, in fact in 1814, the British basically captured Washington, the government ran, and they decided to burn the Capitol.
British troops used the fireplace, now in McConnell's reception area, to light books from the Library of Congress. This crack in the fireplace is believed to date back to that day.
And of course, I'm sure they threw the books everywhere and lit them up. And of course, it gutted the Capitol. They also burned the White House. For the last 50 years or so, it's been the office of the Republican leader of the Senate, whether we were in the majority or the minority. So out in the outer office, I have Henry Clay, appropriately enough, and he would enjoy the fact that I replaced him. He replaced Andrew Jackson. And Clay and Jackson were big rivals for 3 decades.
He was there before?
Yeah.
Andrew Jackson
because
was?
Frisk was here from Tennessee.
Because from Tennessee, I got you.
And so Clay finally bested Jackson, at least in something.
Though McConnell points to Henry Clay's career for political guidance, he also points to missteps by the Kentucky statesman, including trying to cram too much into one bill in the Compromise of 1850, which was originally defeated.
And he was so discouraged that he literally picked up and left town. And Stephen A. Douglas, subsequently become pretty well known, took it all apart, and every single piece of it passed.
With different constituencies.
But only 5 senators voted for every piece of it. And I've frequently brought that up because that's somewhat similar to the conundrum we've had on immigration. You know, we've put them into great big packages and they haven't worked out too well. But how you package things frequently has a lot to do with whether or not you get an outcome or not. And we'll have some of those challenges now that we're in the majority. I'll have some of those challenges trying to figure out the best way to package things in order to get an outcome.
McConnell's not the first person named Addison Mitchell McConnell to hold office. Like McConnell in Jefferson County in the early 80s, his great-uncle was elected chief executive of Limestone County, Alabama in 1928.
But people might be interested to know that you have a Democratic
well, there was nothing else. I mean, there was nothing else but Democrats in that part of the country.
It seems to me your entire political life, certainly maybe your entire life, has led up to this moment. So personally speaking, how do you feel today?
Well, you know, I think it's no secret that for a long time I hoped to be a senator, and then when I got to be a senator, I hope to someday have a chance to be the majority leader of the Senate. So it's very gratifying. I'm extremely grateful for the support of the people of Kentucky who've stuck with me for a very long time, and my colleagues who've elected me 5 times to be their leader. And now the question is, what can we do with it?
If your parents were here today and could see what you were doing, what can you imagine? Can you hear their voices in your head and what they'd be saying?
Well, my mom and dad lived to see me come to the Senate, and I know they were proud of that, and they both played an important role. My mother's effort to get me back on my feet after I got polio when I was 2 years old. This is before my memory, but I know that she was taught a physical therapy regimen for my left leg, which she did multiple times a day for 2 years. Can you imagine keeping a 2-year-old off their feet for 2 years? And that was widely credited with allowing my leg to come back enough to where I didn't have to wear a brace. And I had a normal childhood. In fact, my first memory in life was the last visit to Warm Springs, where
FDR?
where we went for where she went for training about how to help me get back to normal. My first memory in life was the last trip to Warm Springs. They told me they thought I was going to be a normal little kid. I'd be able to run and play like everybody else. And we stopped at a shoe store and bought a pair of normal sort of low-top shoes. You know what I think I probably learned during that is that, you know, everybody has adversity. There are always bumps in the road. And if you just keep your nose to the grindstone and keep on working, the chances are things will turn out all right. I was a summer intern in the office of Senator John Sherman Cooper in 1964. 20 years later, I was sworn into the seat that Senator Cooper had. He retired in 72, was replaced by D. Huddleston for 12 years, and then I defeated Huddleston in 84. And so this was when I first came up here to be sworn in.
What do you think Senator Cooper would say today to you?
Oh, I think he'd be really pleased that about my career. And he ran for Republican leader too, and lost to Everett Dirksen, whose picture I'll show you in here.
When we come back inside the Republican Leadership Conference Room, where McConnell says he expects to see more Democrats in this Congress.